Financial risk refers to the potential financial losses due to cyber attacks, including costs associated with remediation, legal fees, and fines. Global financial stability is under threat from the increasing frequency and sophistication of cyber attacks, according to a new report by the International Monetary Fund, IMF. The risk of extreme losses from cyber attacks is also increasing, the report notes, leaving the financial sector uniquely exposed to cyber threats, as operations involve vast amounts of sensitive data and transactions. For financial institutions, the result of a cyber attack could mean funding challenges, reputational damage, and could even lead to insolvency. Moreover, experts warn that for the wider financial sector, major attacks could undermine confidence in the system, disrupt critical services, and spill over to other sectors. The financial sector is uniquely exposed to cyber risk. Financial firms, given the large amounts of sensitive data and transactions they handle, are often targeted by criminals seeking to steal money or disrupt economic activity. Attacks on financial firms account for nearly 1/5 of the total, of which banks are the most exposed. Incidents in the financial sector could threaten financial and economic stability if they erode confidence in the financial system, disrupt critical services, or cause spillovers to other institutions. Cyber incidents that disrupt critical services like payment networks could also severely affect economic activity. The financial risk page, features in Risk360, gives visibility into your organization's potential financial loss exposure for your current risk score. You can also analyze the factors affecting the financial loss exposure of your organization. Viewing your financial exposure provides the several benefits and allows you to analyze your organization's potential financial loss at hand with respect to your risk score. Keep track of the contributing factors aiding to the financial loss exposure. View the loss curve over time to take appropriate actions to mitigate your organization's financial risks. In the financial risk page, you can view the financial summary, which is typically your organization's risk score-based financial exposure, and the exposure without Zscaler. The section also provides an estimate of how much of this financial risk exposure can be reduced by implementing the recommended actions from the top 10 financial contributing factors section. On the right, as you can see, we have the loss curve, which is a graph that shows the loss estimate change over the last 6 months. Finally, at the bottom, we have the top 10 financial contributing factors to the financial risk of your organization. For each factor, you can see the financial exposure, which is the financial loss estimate, is in US dollars, the name of the contributing factor affecting the risk exposure. The category column represents the category the factor falls under. Your score illustrates the total score assigned to the factor and your score based on the configuration, 0 being a healthy score. The total score for a factor depends on its severity. And lastly, the recommended action that needs implementation to reduce your financial risk exposure. Financial modeling serves a myriad of purposes within a business context. It is primarily used for forecasting and informed decisions. By providing a quantitative analysis of a company's financial health, it aids in strategic planning, budgeting, and evaluating investment opportunities. Financial models are used to assess and manage financial risks. By running sensitivity analyses and scenario planning, businesses can evaluate the potential impact of various risks on their financial outcomes. Monte Carlo simulation is a statistical method applied in financial modeling that uses statistical analysis to predict every possible outcome of an uncertain scenario that involves one or more undefined variables. The simulation assigns many different random values to these variables and runs the scenario repeatedly, generating numerous outcomes. Finally, the simulation takes the average of these outcomes to estimate the most likely result. The Risk360 service runs the Monte Carlo simulations 1,000 times. In each iteration of the simulation, the service measures the financial loss based on a randomized cyber breach event and a randomized financial loss within a predefined confidence interval defined by the lower and upper bounds of a loss when a breach occurs. The result of the simulations is used to estimate the yearly average loss and the loss exceedance curve. That is, the curve that shows the probability that a loss exceeds a certain amount. The process is repeated 4 times to calculate the yearly average loss and the loss exceedance curve under 4 distinct scenarios. Inherent risk, which reveals the current risk score of the organization. Residual risk depicts the risk score of an organization after mitigating the top 10 risk factors. Last 30 days. Average risk, which is typically the average risk score of an organization in the last 30 days. ANS, lastly. Industry peer risk, which is the average risk score of peer organizations. Yearly average loss graph at the right shows the average yearly loss in millions of dollars for each of the risk parameters.